So like you talked about honesty. I wasn't honest with myself. Well, of course, that's why you got there. Because maybe you want this, but you told yourself, oh, well, it didn't matter. And then now you realize that it really matters.
It really
it's like,
mattered.
oh, me, I don't really like money. Oh, yeah, of course. I'm
Now
just
you're
like
in
that.
a-
And I was like, oh, but are you sure? It's like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, because you were not honest with yourself. And so you got in there because you never really told yourself the truth. Or like, I didn't care about... Beauty is really not my thing. It's not true. Now you get in there, it's like, like that girl is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like nobody put a gun and say, don't marry someone beautiful. You told yourself, oh, for me, I just like tall girls and I don't really like it. I didn't like it.
I was recently talking to a friend. I know he will be watching, so he can attest to. He was asking me that, but wait, Grace, you've been married for 7 years. Almost 7 years already. How do you do it? Is it that you don't see any other beautiful, woman or handsome guy? Like, how are you guys just, know? Because he's not married, but today he sees Ajwa and it's like beautiful.
Another person is like beautiful.
I was just laughing. I was like, yeah, you'll be able to, But I think that's a very important point.
So if you're gonna get out of that, it would definitely begin with being radically honest, truthful with yourself.
Yeah.
What do you really want? Like, I don't know what I want. No, you do know what you want. It's like, stop that. Hello and welcome to my Growth Club. My name is Emmanuel.
And my name is Grace.
We are your partner in growth and effective living. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for always being here. If today happens to be the first time that you are tuning in, welcome. This is a place that you're going to love because we are committed to growth and effective living. We have a lot to share with you, so why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now, and you're just going to love it here. I promise you that. We have our journal, Effective Living Journal. This is how it looks like. It's on Amazon. Go ahead and get it, Effective Living Journal. You're going to love it with all this just beautiful mappings, about how you can live your life and how you can turn things around. Today, we're going to discuss something that I'm hoping that you will love. In the previous episode, we talked about how to escape the people-pleasing trap. Many of us are in that and we just don't even realize. Today, we are going to talk about what people should do when they feel stuck. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel stuck in your life?
I'm so stuck. I need a savior
at this point. But on a more serious note, do you feel stuck? Do you feel stuck maybe in your marriage, in your life, in your career? Like you just don't know what is happening. You don't see any way forward. You just feel like, is this how things are going to be? For how long are things going to be like this? Like, I really can't continue like this. I'm stressed, I'm tired and stuff like that. Do you feel stuck in any area of your life? Do you feel stuck in life?
Yeah.
Stick around because today's episode is really going to be very helpful to you. What do you think people should do?
I think one key thing that is important on a journey of growth with which we are going with everyone is it's okay, right, to come to a point in your life where you feel like you are stuck because acknowledging it alone is good enough because prolonging, sometimes some people feel like they are not happy, they are just not themselves, but then they've not really admitted to themselves that, I feel like something is wrong, or pause for a second to acknowledge, I feel stuck in this area of my life or that area of my life. So I think the first critical thing, even before we go into do this, do that, is that acknowledging is okay.
Being honest with yourself.
Prolonging it, being unhappy, being mad at the world, it's not going to help you. You'll just be stagnant. There'll be no area to grow.
Exactly.
So the first step is for people to be very honest, that, yes, I'm really stuck at this point in my life or this area of my life.
But are they stuck?
They're unhappy anyway. Like we are unhappy, we feel troubled, we feel like we are just mad at the world, mad at ourselves, have a lot of things going on. So yes, we may be stuck in other aspect of our life or in a particular aspect of our life, right? But again, to your point, you just made, are we stuck indeed? And that's one other thing that we need to consider, because if
I guess they feel stuck, they really feel stuck, and because often it's just that they don't see a way forward.
Exactly.
Like I feel stuck in my marriage if I don't see a way forward. It's like this guy is not changing or this girl is not changing. It's like we're fighting over the same thing over and over again. Like we are just in this situation. Some people will say we've tried therapy, it didn't work. We've gone for marriage counseling, it didn't work. And so it's like, you know what?
Like,
or there's some people who also have, like, maybe in their career, they just like, this is all I could have done. Like, I have this certification, I have this, I have that, and now it's like I'm in a position where there's nothing I can do. I can't kill my boss. Like, you get what I mean? Like, I can't leave my job. That's the way we think, and so that feeling of I'm just stuck in here. Like right now, I just don't see the way forward. And so we try to kind of dance around. And to your point, being honest and telling yourself that, well, again, am I stuck?
Indeed.
You know, or is it just a feeling I have because I want more?
Yeah.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, sincerely. I think that a lot of times we try to punish ourselves for wanting better for ourselves. Like we punish ourselves for wanting more and for wanting better. And many times because the desire itself and the want itself feel like you are ungrateful. You are not being appreciative of what you have.
Of all the things you have.
Exactly. And for some people too, they turn that desire into competition. They say, well, look at someone else. Look at someone else. No, it can actually end with you. It can end with the feeling you have that I just want more because of A, B, C, D. And that's fine. That's like fine. Right now, I want a lot of money.
The things I want, if I'm to write it, we will not finish this podcast.
And it's okay. Like I want a lot of money because I want to retire my mom. You know, because I feel that my dad is old and I want my mom to spend more time with my dad.
For me, I want to live the baby girl life.
Well, you are part of the things I also want anyway, you know, but obviously not to retire you.
Please, I need to retire.
And not to even give you a baby girl life. It's like, nah, that's not part of what I want for you. But that's the point. And so it ends with me. It's not because someone is having more. It's not because others are. Like, you can end with you having a genuine reason why you want more, rather than making it a competition with others, or rather than feeling bad about wanting better more, and wanting more for yourself.
And I think the other side of not feeling bad is also just questioning why you want more. When we started this podcast, the early stages, we showed the mental picture of life that we threw away.
The very common one.
Yes, the staircase checklist. You know, I finished this. I finished that.
We're going to show it on the screen, actually.
I finished school. I finished this. So our next step is this. So if that's the reason, right?
Why
so
you feel stuck.
It's okay to feel want more, but also question why you want more. That's very critical, because if you don't question, and it's because of, like, to your point,
people,
unnecessary
or
competition,
what society, or the checklist you have to take.
People even pleasing in our previous episode, right? Then that's where the problem also is. So yes, you can want more.
But why do you want more?
Why do you want more?
Right. And don't feel bad because you want more. Again, it's up to you, but don't feel bad because you want more. But that's the beginning part. Like, really, there's also a point where I think that we get into the state of feeling stuck because we don't understand how things work in life. Like, we don't pay attention to things. We don't learn more. We don't want to learn more. We don't want to add to our knowledge how things really work. And so we make things up in our head, and then we figure out that that's not really how they work. And that's where the shock comes. And now we are in it and we don't know how to get out. For instance, I don't know how marriage really works. I just say, okay, well, but I really want to marry. Maybe because of, again, we talked about escaping the people pleasing trap. Like, maybe because I'm trying to, you know, or exactly. Or maybe I'm this point, I want to escape this state of being I am, which is the singleness. It's uncomfortable when people say that, oh, well, do you have a, no, I just feel uncomfortable. Like, when beautiful girl like you. It's like,
when are you giving birth?
You know, it makes it feel like I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not this, I'm not that. And so we try to escape that. But what happens is we get to this state, this place where now we have no idea what this is about. You know, I see a lot of things that we do. Let me say this, and I'm hoping that people really take these words very seriously. Nature, reality, life does not play by according to your plans. See, it does not play by your goals. Nature does not respect your goals. It does not look at your goals and say, I'm going to be what your goals want. I'm going to be what your desire wants. No, I'm going to be what your plans want. It doesn't care. It just doesn't. Nature is nature. Reality is reality. You need to understand how things work and rather align yourself with them. Align your goals and your plans with them. You don't turn it the other way around. You don't expect nature to work according to your plans and your goals. And that's where we feel stuck. The frustration happens when we kind of, we made these plans for ourselves. And then we realize that's not how things work. And it's like, oh my goodness. Like for instance, once I heard a lady saying some things. It's like, oh, I just want to really have all this kind of stuff. And when I'm like this and when I'm like 30 something, and then I would just go this way and I'm just doing that. And I'm looking like, say, does she realize that there is a biological clock for women? She doesn't. She's probably not even thought about it. She has no idea. She thinks she's always going to have her eggs. She's always going to easily give birth. Ladies, no, that's not how it works. Go check it out. That's not how the world works. There is a time you are very fertile. There's a time that is difficult to really conceive. And so don't just make decisions, I'm just going to do this at this time. No, that's not how it works. There's some people too that they say, oh, I want to marry this kind of person and this kind of person. Great. That's fine. Do you know how it's like marrying people like that? Do you know how it's like, who this person is? And so instead of trying to learn from people, even when we're in a relationship, we are so much in a hurry to marry. We are not learning. Instead of saying, let me just really learn about this person. Let me see who they are. Let me see how things are. We just want the end of it, which is marriage. Do you understand what marriage is? And so we get into it, and now we can get out because maybe now all our properties are together, or now we have children, and that's where we feel stuck. It's like, gosh, where am I going from here? You were in it. You didn't understand how it works. Reality. That's why we go to school, by the way. So when I did economics was just learning about how economies work. That's what I did. We go to school to learn how things work, so that we will not make those decisions, so that we will be careful with the things that we do, so that we can now think properly about the way this universe that we find ourselves is. If you don't do that, and so sometimes, like maybe in our discussions, we're going to make a decision, and then I share with you, okay, this is how money works. This is how economies work. And maybe in a conversation, I have this vibe that you're thinking, okay, the market will work this way. I say, markets are the same way. They don't play by your rules. They don't play by your desires. Like you don't just say, I'm going to buy it and then I'll just go and sell it.
Go in this order.
That's not how it works. The market does not say, oh, you buy, you want to sell? Fine. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy stocks. And then, of course, you can buy stocks. But the market does not say, I'm going to go up because you bought stocks. Markets don't work that way.
Markets can just move by the statement from someone.
Exactly.
And then the market can just crash. Boom.
Because they don't just work by your desires and your goals. And so you've got to be careful with how you think things work. You need to in fact, we go to a whole school to learn these things. People do all these kind of things to learn them. And so don't rush with decisions. Because a lot of the time we got here because we didn't understand how things work and we went ahead to make decisions anyway. For some people, they're fortunate. It works for them. It's not always like that for everybody. You need to be careful. In relationship, how does it work? Marriage, how does it work? This guy, how is he? This girl, how is she? Try and understand it. Try and learn it. In our relationship, majority of it was just trying to learn. And even now, it's always about trying to learn together and trying to improve together. And because we just don't know how things work.
I think we cannot overemphasize understanding reality enough, right? And like you just highlighted, like we need to understand, right, how we even got there, because there are lots of decisions we all keep making. I've made several decisions in my life that I ended up somewhere, The only way I could come out of it is for me to sit down and reflect that, okay, really, indeed, it was A, B, C, D that got me here. I think most of the time, talking with people, even my life, right? When I look at my life, there have been several times I felt stuck in ways. And I'm not able to get out because I'm not even honest that it was A, B, C, D that got me here. And I think that's one other area that people should be able to admit and say that, okay, this is what got me here. And that's where freedom and liberation will start coming in. There's been so many things that, for example, you are talking about relationship. People want certain things. You had maybe wonderful guys or girls, then you're like, oh, I want this at this stage.
I want that.
I want that. Then you let them go. Reality.
Because we thought the way the world works is that guys will always keep coming.
They will keep coming.
And they're always going to be there.
Sometimes it's not like you will lose your beauty or you lose how you look good as a guy, but you can't even have time to connect, Eventually, sometimes some people, it will be like, hey, when am I even going to get time another time? So, yes, of course. For me, my biggest point is, yes, we are admitting that all those are the things that led me here.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about how you can get out of it.
Yeah, because, the things that got you are obviously the things that will help you get out.
Exactly.
So like you talked about honesty. I wasn't honest with myself. Well, of course, that's why you got there. Because maybe you want this, but you told yourself, oh, well, that didn't matter. And then now you realize that it really matters.
It really
like,
mattered.
Oh, man, I don't really like money. Oh, yeah, of course. I'm just like that. And I was like, oh, but are you sure? It's like, of course. Yeah, because you were not honest with yourself. And so you got in there because you never really told yourself the truth. Or like, I didn't care about beauty is really not my thing. It's not true. Now you get in there, it's like, like that girl is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like nobody put a gun and say, don't marry someone beautiful. You told yourself, oh, for me, I just like tall girls and I don't really like it. I didn't like it.
I was recently talking to a friend. I know he will be watching, so he can attest to. He was asking me that, but wait, Grace, you've been married for 7 years, almost 7 years already. How do you do it? Is it that you don't see any other beautiful, woman or handsome guy? Like, how are you guys just, because he's not married, but today he sees Ajwa and it's like beautiful.
Then meet another person, it's like beautiful.
I was just laughing. I was like, yeah, you'll be able to, but I think that's a very important point. Like, admitting, because
people never tell they never tell themselves those things,
truth,
and then now you get that. So if you're gonna get out of that, it will definitely begin with being radically honest, truthful with yourself.
Yeah.
What do you really want? Like, I don't know what I want. No, you do know what you want. It's like, stop that. You don't know what you want.
But sometimes people really don't know what they want.
We'll talk about that. When you're young, but as you grow, at this point, you don't know what you want still. Like, mom, dad, like, you really know what you want. Yeah. So be honest with yourself. And that's the point where, like, what got you there is because you were not honest. And like we talked about reality, what also got you there is because you didn't understand how things work and you never learned enough. That's also one of the things that's going to take you out. Because now you have to be honest with yourself and say, how does money work? Like, I really want to understand how it works. How do people... I'm surprised. People just don't know how money works. People don't know what is compounding. They don't understand what is compound interest. Last 2 weeks, I taught you. I was like, you are an accountant.
I am an accountant.
You don't understand compound interest.
I understand it theoretically, but because I was telling you that.
But breaking down how it applies to our life.
When you save, you get something small. I don't think we should do. We were talking about it, and then you sat me down. We're doing paper. Like, okay, if it's $1,000, another $10,
and then now it adds up, and then it adds up.
I knew it theoretically, but
you didn't understand how it works in life, and that's the truth, happens, right? And so we make decisions because we don't understand how things work. We can't know everything. That's the truth. But at least the things that do matter to you, learn them. We just bought a book on the 5 types of wealth, which is an amazing book. And we will share more on that very soon, and we'll recommend how you guys can get it. But the beauty of it is just trying to say, well, this is the life we want. And for those of you who have the journal, you see the model, the effective living model that we developed. This is how these things work. And so let's learn about wealth. Let's learn about health. Let's learn about relationships. Let's learn about work and impact. Let's learn about wisdom. Let's learn about growth mindset. Like, these are the things that are important to me. I'm not saying go and learn about biology, but just try. Like, if you're a woman, try and learn about how your body works. Just learn about it. Because sincerely, I watched a video of Gabrielle Union, and they asked her if she could go back and advise her young self, what would she say? And she said, I would tell her to freeze her eggs. And I was like, whoa, wait. What? Like, I mean, that's the most absurd. Well, not like absurd, but that's the most unexpected answer you could ever expect. But because she didn't know that at a point in time, those eggs wouldn't be there. And that is why now people are using surrogates and people are doing artificial insemination and all that, because people just don't understand how things work. And we're not interested. We spend time scrolling, watching WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, when you could just have a plan towards your learning and say, you know what, I'm just going to learn about the anatomy of, I've watched videos about how women's body works. And so I try to say, okay, well, this is why these decisions must be done this way. We've got to be careful in that way. And the last thing that we also talked about was just not like you talked about choices right now. Again, you got in there because of your choices. Now that you know, you're definitely going to get out. You know, because of your choices. And so that's the basic level. Now let's see what more we can add.
I think for me, the bedrock of this, especially when people have now sat down, okay, that's what got me here, is, I would say, before we even get into other things, is learn to forgive yourselves, right? Because I feel like sometimes some people will remain stuck because it's like, some people beat themselves.
Full of regret and guilt.
Gosh, I should have done this. I should have said yes to this guy. I should have, taken this step. I should have taken this.
In fact, some people even blame them because, like, if I was with this guy, maybe my life would have been different.
Exactly. And some people even hold resentment towards some guys who maybe did A, B, C, D, when they themselves even saw the red flags and they decided to go with the guy. So either they don't forgive themselves or forgive others. I think that's one liberating aspect. You made the decision to maybe get certain things and you are stuck in so much financial difficulties. Just forgive yourself. That's the first thing.
Exactly.
It will bring you so much energy to pursue the next steps. It will just liberate you.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And the reason why you have to forgive yourself is because you're not God. Like, you're going to get it wrong. And sometimes, you didn't know tomorrow, and that's fine. It's like, even if, like we just talked about understanding reality, you cannot always know how things will go.
Exactly.
Like, you can, especially when the decisions are not in your hands. Like, there's some things that you can understand. Like, we just talked about the market. You don't control the market. These are people's decisions. You probably might have gone to take some money somewhere to go and invest in somewhere. You don't have that power. Like, the way we think. We really overthink how powerful we are sometimes. And we overthink how smart we are. We think, like, if I was smart, then I would not be wrong. No, you will be wrong. Like, there are a lot of decisions that you're going to do and, like, nah, that was stupid.
And that's sometimes too, it's not always that you are wrong yourself, but sometimes you can't control, like, a guy. You meet a guy, you may have made
lady.
A very informed decision, and people can even change along the way. So they can do things to you, they can hurt you, they can do, not because you didn't, or maybe the things you were looking at, the essential things about marriage or guy or whatever you were looking for was in that guy, and in that moment,
something else.
But then you couldn't control what their decision is.
It's true. I think sometimes
that's another thing.
The most painful thing you can have in life is to, especially even in relationship, you can love someone with everything in you and they may not love you back. That's how life works. And so whilst we talk about learning, one of the things you can also learn about is human behavior. Learn human behavior. When you do understand human behavior, it's easy for you to forgive. Many times we can't do that because, like Jesus on the cross, he looks at these people. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He knows that if they knew better, they would not do that. Right? And then he says that. And sometimes too, we are so stuck in looking at just the people that we don't see beyond the people. And for those of us who are Christians, this is one of the scriptures that I really love, especially when it comes to forgiveness, is when Joseph saw his brothers and he actually wept. They couldn't recognize him. And then he came back and he said something that I really find profound. He says, you meant it for evil, God meant it for good. In other words, your destiny is not completely in the hands of people the way we think. Like, we give people too much power than they have over us. The power they have over us is just what we have given them to have over us. Like, if my auntie, my mother, my father didn't do this, if this guy didn't do this, if this has done this, no, that's not true. Joseph said, you guys really meant it for evil. Like, I'm not making an excuse for that. Like, we say, oh, maybe, no. He says, I'm not making an excuse. I saw what you guys did. You really meant it for evil. You almost even wanted to kill me. But you were not the only players in my life. And so for those of you who are struggling to forgive yourself and forgive others, one of the things you can do...
companies. Forgive some companies.
I mean, one of the things...
They treated you terribly.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the things you can do is that human beings, or whatever it is, don't have the final say in your life.
Yeah.
If whatever thing happened, God still will use that to glorify himself in your life. That's the thing where you realize that it's not like I can't forgive you because I think it's all you. Joseph said, no, I can forgive you because it wasn't all you. He said it wasn't all you. Whilst you meant it for evil, there was something higher that meant it for good. And so whatever the evil was, doesn't matter anymore to me. And so I think that this might help people also. Forgive yourself, like you said, like that's really profound. Just learn to forgive yourself. Tell yourself, like, hey, you know what? I didn't know much, and that's fine. Like you shared something last Friday on becoming. You are becoming. You know, you are becoming. So become it.
Become it.
Give a big room for growth for yourself. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like you don't expect to have known better maybe when you were 15. It's okay. It's part of what is making you who you are. Be grateful for that experience. That's why if you have the journal, there's a part where we begin with walking through your life experiences and we ask you to practice gratitude. Because the pain is just because we can't see anything good in it. Joseph said, I'm seeing evil in your actions, but I see God in it. And he saw God, he saw good. When he saw God, he saw good. When you don't see God, you don't see good. When you see people, it's like they are doing this, they are slandering me, they are doing this, they are saying this, they are disrespecting me, they are dishonoring me. I learned this and I don't care. I don't notice dishonor. You can say whatever you want to say. You can choose not to listen to what I say. It doesn't matter, because if you knew better, you would do better. Jesus said that on the cross. He said, forgive them because they didn't know better. If they knew better, they would have done better. And so when you understand human behavior, when you understand this, you can forgive yourself even the more. And I think one thing I would also add is, you know, many times we don't plan stuff. Like a lot of us hate planning. And the reason why I'm saying planning is because when you plan things, you factor in different things and you actually do them in relation to time. Many of the things that we think that we are going through right now is just because we don't have a plan. Like we can endure stuff if there is a plan. Like because a plan gives purpose to our pain. Let me say this again. A plan gives purpose.
Where are the handkerchiefs?
I mean, I don't know how it just slipped out of my mouth. It just came out. I didn't even think about it. It just came. But a plan gives purpose to our pain, really. Like, I can endure if I know. Like, why do you think we spent 4 years in school? When sometimes we could have had a comfortable life somewhere? It's because I know that at the end of the 4 years, this is what's going to happen. Many times, where we are is just because there is no plan. We don't have it. And so there is no purpose for whatever we are going through. And that is why we feel stuck. You can't have a plan for your life. Sincerely, you can't. And I encourage you to do that. If you have the journal, it will help you. And focus on the small wins. Because it's like, oh, there's nothing good about my life. Are you sure? There's something beautiful about your life. Look at it again. Look at it. I mean, because you're looking at the big wins and you're missing out on the small wins. So I do encourage people to plan. And of course, what do I plan? Well, the journal will help you. Look at some of these things, the things that matter to your life. Look at wealth, look at finances. It's like, I can go through, many of us when we're in school, we're not earning. And it was fine. Because we knew that afterwards we will earn with whatever we are going to get. And so why we are able to go through stuff like that we probably didn't enjoy doing is because we knew that at the end of it, this is what is going to happen. And that's what happens when you really plan well. You're able to say that, well, today I may be with my children or today I might be focusing on work, but it's not the end of the road for me. I mean, after this is what is going to happen. Or sometimes I might be going through a tough time right now, enduring, but well, my children are going to grow at this particular time.
Delayed gratification
again. So you are able to have delayed gratification because you know at the end of the day, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Planning is so critical. And I'll also add that when you plan, be very intentional and deliberate about following through. You know, I was talking to a friend on Friday and he was like, Grace, no matter how you convince me, I'm not going to plan. You know, I'll live my life because when I plan, I don't follow. And I think we talked about in some of the episodes recently, and I was sharing that I also had that mindset, I feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Today I go to work, I do this, and I don't like to plan it, right? But up until recently, when we began this journey, trying to grow, and sometimes I have things in my diaries. It's not that sometimes I'm following through 100%, but just there, because I have it now, it's on my mind. I gave an example in 2-3 episodes ago about even Bible study. I always, year on year, I tell myself, I want to grow here. December comes and I've done nothing. But recently, I'm getting pop-ups. Oh, today, maybe 15 minutes to your quiet time.
It's true.
Maybe sometimes I miss it. But then, because we set it every day, please, we are giving our Bible study guide for free.
It's in the description, so go ahead and get it.
Please get it. It's going to help. And sometimes I see myself even trying to catch up because 3 days, if I didn't plan at all, then everything, life
and there's a structure, right? It's now giving structure to your learning.
Structure to your learning.
Because in January we started learning about
the parables.
Then
we went to humility in February,
and we talked about faith. Just learning about those kind of things.
And then in April we talked about wisdom.
And so you realize
now we're talking about the fruits of the Spirit.
Exactly, because you realize that what we are doing is we are giving purpose, right, to our actions. Yeah. The main reason why people don't plan is because, again, the staircase thinking is there, where the checklist stuff is like, I've gone to work, tick. But then it takes the essence of why you're doing what you're doing. It's like, okay, I won't plan. And then I just say, okay, Monday, I'm hungry, I'm going to buy food.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
And the funny part of planning is that it allows other people to fit into your life. Without a plan, we can't. Because I don't know, how do we record if I don't know what you want to do?
Exactly. You can't just come and let's record. But
you can do that. That's why when you went to school, the school didn't just say, okay, level 100, show up to class anytime.
They'll give you a
because you are dealing with different people. So the lecturer must know what time to show up. The student must know what time. And they have to know where to show up.
Today you are tickling me. You are just hitting things.
You're crazy.
Offering. Take the offering now.
You're really crazy. But that's really what happened, right? Yeah. That's what happened. And I get that people don't like to follow plans. But I it's fine. You made the plans. Right? And if you don't, that's why you have to make room to track it. And I say to people that you don't follow plans when you focus on the big wins.
Yeah, big wins.
Like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Now you can just break it down and say, okay, this week this is what I'm doing.
And
then this is how it will fit into a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Or this is the bigger picture, and then bring it down to how I'm going to focus on the small things. Yeah. And then what they call eat the frog. Just eat the frog. Planning also allows you to focus on something that is essential.
Yeah.
Without a plan, you can't focus properly. You are looking at too many things. And we trust our brains too much. We think, so far as in my head, I will do it. That's not true. You forget all the time. You have all these kind of things. And so I have most of them on my watch. It just alerted me that I have a meeting in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I have to jump onto that meeting right now. If I didn't have a plan for it, I wouldn't know it and I wouldn't show up.
You miss out on events,
right. So
important things.
I hope that our conversation today has really been helpful. Yeah. There's more we could share. We're going to talk about that another time. We talk about comfort zone and all that. But I know many of you are not comfortable right now, so there's no reason why I have to talk about. I have to talk about comfort zone, but we will do that. And so just whatever you're going through, however the situation is like, one of the things that you have to know is that things can change. That's the last thing that we're going to end with. Things can change. Things change in life. Things change. People change. Time, people say, changes. Situations can change.
Yeah.
Your mind can change.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Things can change. Your brain can change. You can change your mind. Things can change. And that is what gives us hope. Things can change. People can change, regardless of how bad it is. Situations can change. Oftentimes, we feel stuck because there's no hope. When hope is gone, everything is gone. It's like, oh my God, this is all there's going to be. No. Stop freaking out. Things can change. Yeah. Sometimes in just a moment. Many of you are stuck in situations. There's no way out. You just don't know how things can go. Listen. One of the things I've realized is even for people who are very successful in life is the element of luck. that they do say. I mean, for us who are believers, we do know that God is true and real, and that the hand of God is really there. And that's why we do encourage prayer, because many people just don't know how things worked out. They don't know. They just invested an amount of money and the market was good. It's like they just can't tell you. I'm serious. Many people can't tell you how things just sometimes work out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's always like that, but there is an element of, I call it grace, other people call it luck. I call it God's divine hand, according to his purpose and his plan, right? That is in it. And that you cannot really do much about. Don't think you have control over many things. Like you cannot marry a short woman and expect her to be a tall woman.
Yeah.
It's not who she is. You cannot marry a black woman and expect her to be a white woman. Biologically, we are who we are. It means that there is what is natural and what is not. There's things that are beyond your control. Yeah. You can't say, because I desire this, that's what I'm going to get. That's not true. You can desire it, but that is not what you're going to get. You can wish for it. That's not what you're going to get. There's an element of what we didn't make in life.
Yeah.
There's still an element of what we can control in life, and stop being God to yourself and stop feeling God and think you've got to have everything under control and everything must be and I'm going to strategize, I'm going to get out of it. Yeah, of course, that's a very good way to look at it. But you need to begin by realizing that many things in life are not always under your control. So all that we've said aside, there's still an element of grace in life, or luck, as people may call it. I don't know how I don't believe that there's no luck. It's not like I'm saying that there. Of course, if you don't believe in God, that's what you say. So you can say whatever you want to say. But what I'm trying to tell you is this: regardless of your situation, regardless of your state now, how your things are going, and how circumstances are, and how you look, and how you feel, and all that, things can change in a moment.
Yeah.
Things can change, I tell you.
Absolutely.
Times change, people change, the mind can change, life can change, and your situation can change. Thank you so much for sticking around. Go get our Effective Living Journal. It's on Amazon. This is how it looks. Very beautiful. It comes in 3 types, but this is the first one. Get this one if you like it. Then you can get Making a Days Count, which is more like 365 days, helping you plan your days and write and journal and write stuff. And you guys are really going to love them. So go ahead and get them. If you're a couple, it will help. It will change your conversations. I promise you. Go get it. If it doesn't, come for your money. Just send us a mail. I'll give you back your money. But it will change your life, sincerely. Yeah. And go get our Effective Living Systems OS on our website, mygrowthclub.org. And if you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It's been a wonderful time. And we will be back here next 2 weeks. Thank you for being here, my baby girl.
Thanks,
and we're going to catch you guys another time. Bye-bye.
Bye.